The stage is all yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think everyone has solved the keyword TDs that were given, and some of you sent the doubts. I hope they are cleared, like I answered. So today we'll begin with sets. Okay, sets are something where it's almost the same as lists in Python. There are some differences, right? So the differences have been written here. So in set, what happens is, in list, what was the type of brackets that we used? Anyone?
Box brackets.
Box brackets. Here we'll use the second brackets, the curly brackets. So in set, that is one difference from list. Another difference, the main difference in sets is, once you put some value in set, you cannot change that particular value. So like in this set, there is man, ant and 3, right? There are 3 values. So once you have put these values, we cannot change them, right? So I'll ask you to type out these 2 lines, type a set and then print out that set. So first of all, write that one, okay? Everyone has opened Programmers, I think. Just open that and then type out these 2 lines, the first 2 lines. And run the program and see what output is coming. If you have any problem, you can ask volunteers who are standing there. They are there to help you.
If you have any doubts or anything, please just raise your hand.
So everyone is done? Okay. So what output are you getting, everyone? This is the output you are getting. 3 man and ant, like this, right? Okay. So when you run it, one thing you will see is, it doesn't matter how you type the set when you are initializing it, but the output can come in any order, okay? So the output is not necessary to come in this order, man, ant and 3, however you write it. So that's another properties of sets, which is it is unordered. It can come, the output can come in any order, right? It doesn't matter how you give it, the output can come in any order. Another thing is, it can obviously store different type of items. So there's 2 strings and there is 1 integer type data. So it can store any type of data, right? Okay, Soumedhik, go down. Okay, so another way we can create a set is through the set function. Okay, so if you use the set function and write the same thing, so it's a function, you have to give the first brackets, and within that you give another bracket and you store all the things that there are, right? So that's called a set function, and you can use this to create a set. Okay, that's like an alternate way to create a set. So you can use this way, you can use the earlier way, whatever you like. It does the same thing, right? Okay, so I will say type out a set. Don't give these values, okay? Do not give these values. Give 0, 1, true, false. Do it right now. Create a set. You can use this syntax or the earlier syntax, whichever you want. The elements will be 0, 1, true and false. True and false are boolean values, not the string, okay? So just write capital T true and capital F false, and see what output is coming. Print that set and see what output is coming. Yeah. So everyone is done with that. So everyone type it out and then we'll see. Okay. So I think everyone is done. What output are you getting? 0 and 1. Yes. So that's one thing you notice is, in case of sets, Python treats 0 as false. 0 and false are the same thing too in sets, okay? And 1 and true are the same thing. So what happens is, those are duplicate values. So they are treating 0 and false like the same thing. So once you have duplicate values, here if you see, I have given 2 3s. But in the answer there is a single 3, right? That means if there are 2 or more values, the same value, they will print it only once. So that's one thing of set. So in from like middle school, we have all done sets in mathematics. So in mathematics, what happens when we have a set, and if I have the same value repeated times, I consider it only once, right? So here is also the same thing, okay? So yeah, go down. Okay, so there is a common confusion that when we say sets are immutable, some people think that there is no way we can change sets, right? That is not the truth. Sets are immutable means set elements are immutable. If you type the first element as 3 or true or your own name, you cannot change that particular element. You can add new elements to the set, you can remove any element from the set, that you can do, okay? So how to delete an element from the set? To do that, we will use the discard function. Do this, whatever name you have given to the set, give the name of the set, dot discard, and within brackets give the element which you want to delete. For me it was 3, I wanted to delete 3, so I have given 3. In your case you can give any value, you can give 0 and 1, the one you created, you can give 0, and then you see what output is coming, and then you print the set obviously and see what output you are getting. So did everyone do the discard function? What output are you getting? That element is not getting printed. Yes. So dot discard this value means we have removed 3 from the set. That's it. Okay. So now if you print the set, you will not see 3 anymore. It's just man and ant, right? Okay. I will say then do. You have what value have you removed? Everyone? So like I have removed 3. What value have you removed? False. Okay. Others say 1, 2. Okay. So whatever value you have removed, remove that again. Okay. Write it out. The same syntax. Set name dot discard and within brackets write the same value. Okay. Do that again and then print the set again. See what happens. The same value you have removed earlier. Remove that value again. Yeah, exactly. So once you remove Soumedhik, uncomment these lines and now run this. Yeah, okay. So what happens is, you don't have to see this 92.5. The thing is man and ant, you will see the same set, okay, right? If you remove the same thing twice, what happens is, when I remove 3 from here, there was a 3 and I removed the 3, right? Wait. Yeah, wait. So go up a little bit. Okay. So when I remove this 3, there was a 3 before and I removed this 3, right? Then now there is no 3 and I try to remove another 3, okay? So it will just return whatever there is because it can't remove anything, okay? In place of discard, there is another function remove, okay? If you use remove, this line will generate an error because we are trying to delete something that is not present. So then you will get an error. So it's better if you use discard function because it will never show an error message. But in some places you can also use the remove function because then you will be sure if you are deleting something that is not present, okay? Okay, go down. So there are 2 ways, discard and remove function. You can use either one of them. Okay, so if you want to add something to a set, what do? We use the add function and you can add, so I will say type out these 2 lines and you add any value you want, okay? You can add 92.5 or you can add any value. You print out the set and you will see that a new value has been added to the set. Okay, I think everyone is done. Okay, did the new value get added? Okay, thank you. So when you print this, the new value gets added and you can use this one, the len dset. Using it, you can get the length of the set. Okay, so no need to type this one. You can see this if all of you has done lists and have learned about lists, you will know that the len function will be used to calculate the length of anything you pass within it. Okay, so this is the same for sets, lists, tuples, whatever you say, it's the same thing. Okay, go down. Soumedhik, go down. Okay, in case of tuples, what you have, tuples are a little different from sets, right? What happens is tuples is, they are ordered. Like in case of sets we saw, there was no order. Like doesn't matter how I initialize it, the output can be coming in any order. In case of tuples, it's not the same. They will be ordered and they will be unchangeable. Like we had sets. In case of sets, we couldn't change a particular value. Same in case of tuples, we could not change the particular value, right? And a difference between set and tuples is you can it allows duplicate values. Just now we saw in sets, like it doesn't allow duplicate values. In case of tuples, duplication is allowed. Okay, so come down. Okay, wait. So this is a tuple, and tuples are with first brackets. Okay, so in case of list, what was the brackets? Square brackets. In case of sets, curly brackets. In case of dictionaries, curly brackets, second bracket or curly brackets. And in case of tuples, it's the first bracket. Okay, so here we have seen like double values. The HP, we have made this twice, duplicate values, and if you print the tuple, you will simply see those two twice, right? If this was the case of set, we will see HP only once, but now we see it, if you mention this 5 times, you will see it 5 times. That's basically how it goes. Okay, so type out, you don't need to type out these 2 lines. Soumedhik, uncomment these 2 lines. And next one, yeah. And now run it. Yeah. So see, we have tried to change this value. Wait. This value was GP, right? The second value of the tuple, index 1, it was GP. I have tried to change it and make it HP, right? So what happens in case of this is there is an error. Go down. Yeah, so type error. So when we try to change, come now. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So it does means if you have an existing value in a particular place, you cannot change that. That's what it means. Okay, come on. Yeah. So that's basically tuples. I will say you can you do the first 2 lines. That's about it. You don't need to type anything else. Okay. So everyone is done. You can write a short tuple. You don't need to write this much. Just give like 2 elements and print it. Okay, so when you print the length of the tuple, you can use the same syntax again, len, and within the bracket, you give the name of the tuple, and it will print the length of the tuple simply. So we have 4 elements here, so the output will be 4. So you can go down further. So let's begin strings. Okay, so strings are very simple in Python. You can just take any variable and input anything you want. It has to be in double quotes for it to be a string. And then there are lots of functions of string. Okay, so you can read about any number of functions you want. The basic ones which you need a lot are firstly s.upper, .lower, all of those things. Okay, so this much part you don't need to write, because strings, I think most of you are familiar with strings, right? In C or C++, the basic languages you know. Okay. So these are some functions in Python which are used with strings. So s.upper is used to convert this entire thing to uppercase. Similarly, you can use s.lower. It will convert the entire thing to lowercase. All right. S.index skepsis will give. Okay. So without seeing, can you tell what output this will give? S.index skepsis. Anyone? So it gives 7. Yeah, it will give 7. So the reason this will give 7 is because this is 0 and this index is 7. So skepsis starts at index 7. So that's why s.index skepsis, this will give the output 7. Okay, how many of you know starts with and ends with? The starts with and ends with function. So okay, so starts with function basically checks, we pass a parameter and it checks whether this particular variable starts with this value. That's what it does. Okay, so s dot starts with this means it will check whether s starts with this value. That's it. Similarly, ends with works like that. It will check whether this variable s, which is Python at skepsis, does it end with this value, that is pi, right? So what will be the first, so the output for starts with and ends with will be Boolean values, so true, false, like that. If it starts with that or ends with that, it's true. If it doesn't, it's false, simply. Okay, so s dot starts with pi and s dot ends with pi. So what will be the output for the first one? True. What will be the output for the second one? Yeah. Go down. Okay, so this is the output. Go down further. Okay, so let's begin object-oriented programming with Python. How many of you know object-oriented programming in any language? Like Java, C, C++? Okay, few. Okay, no problem. So see, class is something, say for example, you work, there is a factory you are managing, all right, and your factory produces multiple type of objects. Okay, so all of those objects, they belong to a class. So what class? Your factory is a class here. So your factory name is for example Dunder Mifflin. Okay, so whatever comes out of that company or whatever comes out of that factory is an object of that class. Okay, so the class is basically just as of now, just think like this. Sharshato, they can't see. So class is something, you can think like this, it is like a template and there will be multiple objects or multiple instances of that template. Okay, like for example animal, there are many examples of animals. So animal is a class and the multiple examples, they are objects of that class. Okay, so let's start. Don't type this one. Okay, and another thing, as most of you don't know object oriented programming, if you are reading this kind of a program in Python or in any language, when you are reading an object program where there are objects and classes, always start reading from the part which is outside the class. Don't read the class first, you will understand nothing. Okay, so start reading from the bottom, from where the class ends, and read from there. Okay, anyone has a problem with tuples? You can say, okay, fine. So in case of object oriented programming, start reading from here when the class ends, and so let's explain this program first. Okay, so the class name is box. Okay, just see this much, you don't need to see anything else. So the class name is box, and box1 equal to box bracket. This basically means the class box, I want to create one instance or one object of this class box, and I will name that box1. Okay, yeah, so box1 is now an object belonging to the class box. That's it. Okay, and box1 will have many properties. For example, animal is a class, lion is a object, and lion has multiple properties, right? So similarly here, box is the class, box1 is the object, and box1 will have multiple properties. So what properties? Properties means a box1 can have name, it can have a price, it can have a quantity, like that, right? So similarly we have assigned values here. So I want box1 name to be Excel, box1's price to be this, and quantity to be this. So to do that, you just do in case of attributes in Python, we use dot. Okay, so I will say please don't type this now, you will not understand anything. Let's understand this first and then continue. So box1 dot quantity, so that you fix the quantity attribute of box1, and like this you have all the values. After this you have written a function. Now you go inside the class. What we see inside the class is a function. So we did function in the last session. I think everyone now knows what functions are in Python, how to write them, how to understand them. Okay, so what we have written here is def calculate self AB. What does this mean? This means that whenever you are writing a function within a class, just remember, like this object box1 is for what class? Box1 is an object of which class? Box, yeah. So box1 has attributes this, this and this. Box1 also has this attribute, calculate. So any data or functions of a particular object are its attributes. Okay, so these are data, this is the function of this object box1. Okay, so I want to call the function calculate for box1. So when you want to do that, I have called the function here, so you can just see this here, box1.calculate, box1.price, box1.quantity. So I have called box1.calculate, so you call the function like this, calculate, within brackets I have sent two values, box1.price and box1.quantity. Okay, everyone can see this? Okay, when you will write, you will get to see. So there are two values. We have sent these two values. They will receive this here in A and B. So skip the self part for now. We will come to that later. So you send we send two values, right? This one box1.price and box1.quantity. They have received it here, and we want to return the product of these two. When we what does the return keyword do? What is its task? Return. It returns the value of this product to this place here. Okay. So I've printed total price will be this much. So total price will be 245.99 multiplied by 5, right? This is what it will do. So what does self do? Why have I written self here? Whenever you call a function for a particular object, here for box1 is the object, and for box1 I am calling the function calculate, right? So whenever this happens, I need to pass self, otherwise it will be an error. So Soumedhik, delete this part. Okay, don't delete this, run this code first. So this is the output, okay. The total price will be this much. It will just show this, it will multiply these two values and show this. Simple. Now delete the self part. Now run it. Yeah, so there will be an error. Okay. So the error is you have to, so calculate takes two positional arguments, but three were given. So go up. See, there are two values. So it's pretty intuitive what you will see. If there are two values here, there should also be two values here, right? But as we are calling the function for a particular object, whenever we are calling the function for an object, I have to write self at the beginning. Otherwise, there will be an error, right? So now type self and run it. Okay, now run it. Go down. Yeah. So now it's working. So I'll say type this program. Okay. Type the full thing and create two objects. Like we have created one object, you create two objects. Okay. So do it now. If you have any problem seeing, you can tell. So is everyone done? Okay. Others done? Okay. So let's go down. First row, are you done? You guys done? Done? Okay. If you have any problem in understanding, you can ask directly, or you can ask them. Anyone. And make sure the indentation is correct. So after class there will be an indentation, and obviously when you begin a function there will be another indentation. So function, I think indentation you know, you have done programs. Class also there will be an indentation. Okay, so do that. So is the output same for everyone? This one 1229. Okay. Okay, so we are carrying on. If you have not finished, it's fine. This code will be given like the first session. Soumedhik, go down. Okay, wait. So okay, so we have made some changes now. Anyone has any issues with the earlier one? Acha, go back to that program once. Soumedhik. They want to see the previous one. Is everyone done with this code? If you are not, you can say that I am not done or something. Okay, what kind of issues are you facing with this? Indentation error or something is coming?
Some are facing attribute errors.
What?
Some are facing attribute errors. The box1 or the posting group file.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go down. Soumedhik. Okay. So if it's not done, it's all right. We'll move on to the next one. Okay. So in this. Whoever, how many of you are done with this one? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, most are done. Okay. Okay. So have you, first of all, have you written this, like completed writing this? Those who are not done, respond. Okay. Those who are done, sit idle for some time. Those who are not done, please respond, because I need to understand. Are you done writing this, first of all? So I think
This program. If you're done writing this, please just read your. Okay, you're done writing this, right?
okay. Then see, whoever has not, how many of you have not understood what has been explained here? You can say that this part I have not understood or something. Anyone? Okay. See, I'm going to explain this once more. So there is a class box, okay, and we have created an instance of this, okay, that is box 1. So OP is new for you, but it's very simple, okay. If you try to understand it, it's pretty simple. Box is the class name and box 1 is an object of this. For example, if you are given the value 32, what data type is 32? Integer. So you can think it like this, that integer is the class and 32 is an object of integer. It's like an example. So it's the same thing here. Box is the class and box 1 is the example of box. So box 1 is called an object of box. This line you have written box bracket. This means this is used to create the object. Okay, whenever you want to create an object, you can write this. Then we use the attributes, we assign the attributes different values, and then we call the function. Here we have called the function. We have sent two values, box1 dot price and box1 dot quantity. These two values go in A and B. We have calculated the product and we return the product. That's what we have done. Okay, self is written because whenever you are calling a function for a particular object, you have to write self. Okay, otherwise the class will not understand that this function call is from an object. Okay, so that the class understands this function call is for a particular object. That's why you have to write self. Okay, I think how many of you understood this time? Okay, some people have understood. Okay, fine. Let's go down now. Okay, we have added some more things. So OP is a region in any kind of programming language. You can write one code and you can cover all the properties of OP. Okay, so just enhance it a little bit and you can like show multiple properties through it. So the previous code, if you have not done it, it's fine. Just see this. If you don't understand something, tell me, okay? Otherwise I can't understand obviously if you understand or not. So this is a class, the same class, see the box name, it's the same thing. We have added this much new portion. The remaining is it's almost same, okay? So this is a new function we have added. There is a calculate function you saw from the previous cell, and these two are also same. Okay, so what is box now? We have been saying box lot of times. What is box here? Yes, the box is a class. What is box 1? Object of box. Okay, so we have created a box 2. Okay, it's another object of box. Soumedhik, go down. Okay, so see these two portions. Okay, this is creation of box 1. This is creation of box 2. In the earlier cell, what we did was box and we started a bracket, ended a bracket, right? That's what we did. Now we don't want to do that. We want to send 3 values when I'm creating the object. So an object is being created. At the same time, we are sending 3 values. Okay. Here also we have done the same thing. So we'll send 3 values. These 3 lines, don't see this right now. We'll explain it why they are here. So after we create box 1, I have created box 2, and after this I have printed total price box 1 dot calculate. In the earlier one there was a calculate function. We are doing a product and returning. Here also we have called the calculate function for box 1. We have called the calculate function for box 2. Go up a little bit. Okay. So this is the calculate function now. In the earlier calculate function and this calculate function, can anyone say what was the difference? Yeah. In the earlier one there was A and B. Here there is no A and B. There is self, right? So what does self do that we discussed in the earlier cell? What is the purpose of writing self here? What does it do? No, not actually. What self does is, if you call, when is this calculate function being called? This calculate function is called for box 1. What is box 1? Object. So whenever we call a function from an object, in that function we have to write self. Otherwise the class will not understand that this function is called by an object. Right? So the self is written so that the compiler knows that box1.calculate, control goes to here and it sees self. So this function call is made by an object. It can be box 1, it can be box 2. So this is basically, this self holds the box 1. Whenever you are writing self in Python in a function, this is holding the object that is calling this function. Is it simple now? Whenever you call a function and I write self here, this self holds the value of the object which is calling the function. Okay, so when I do this box2.calculate, what does self have? Box 2, right? So yeah, so now we have done box self.price multiplied by self.quantity. What is self? Box 2. When we are calling this one, this is box 2. When we are doing this, box 1, box 1. When we are doing this, box 2, box 2, right? So box2.price, box2.quantity, if you multiply them and we return the value. In the earlier one, what we did is return A into B. Here we have done box2.price, box2.quantity goes to here, and box1.price and box1.quantity goes here. Okay, that's all we do. Do we have a problem understanding what I said? Like any problem you can speak up, okay? Okay. So that's all we did for total price, and now go up a little bit. Okay, so this is the new function that we have, init function. So how many of you know constructors? If you know OOP a little bit, you will read about constructors. Okay, so if you don't know, it's fine. Constructor is something, we did this, right? In the earlier code we did this, that for every object I was creating, for every object, every data type will have a unique value. For example, animals, if you go to animals, animal is what? A class? Name 2 examples of animals. Okay, name something different, like, okay. So for example, lion and turtle, okay? Or for example, lion and octopus. Let's say lion and octopus. So lion has number of legs 4, octopus has 8. Yeah. So these two number of legs, you can say that this is a variable of the class what? Animals. So number of legs is a variable for the class animals. There are multiple examples of animals like lions, octopus or whatever. So lions have a particular value for number of legs, turtles have a particular value for number of legs. So this is the same thing. Box 1 is an object, box 1 has the variable name, box 2 also has the variable name, but they have the different values. This one has XL, this one has L, right? So similarly, there are multiple variables, name, price, quantity. All of these are variables which belong to both box 1 and box 2. But for every time I am creating a particular object, I have to assign the value for that variable specifically, right? So here we have created 2 objects. If I want to create 100 objects, we cannot go and assign values like this for 100 times, right? This is not feasible. So what do? That's why we use constructors, right? So what happens in constructor is, this is the init function which does the job of a constructor. In other languages there is nothing like init, but in Python you have to write this. Okay, so init, and before you write init you give 2 underscores. After you write init you give another 2 underscores. Okay, and you have to pass some values to this. Okay, what values will you pass? You have to pass self, because we have said this thing many times, that whenever you are calling a function for a particular object, you have to put the self, okay? Then you have to put all the variables that you want. So what variables we had? Name, price, quantity. So we put all of them in the init function, all right? So when you put all the variables in the init function, now what happens is you see this line. So now you can understand this clearly. Box 1 is box, and we send 3 values, right? These 3 values will go here. Whenever this is called, the init function will be called. Okay. So these 3 values will be going to here. XL will go to name, 245.99 will go to price, and 5 will go to quantity. Okay. So after that, the self, okay, what will self hold now? Right now, what will self hold? Box 1, yes, because we are doing things for this object. So self will hold box 1. So self dot name, we put name. So whatever name we have sent, we store it in self dot name. Whatever price we have sent, we store it in self dot price, and whatever quantity we have sent, we store it in self dot quantity. Simply, okay. And this is something. This is a function, right? So this will not only do the job for one object, this will do the work for all the objects you create. So if you create 100 objects, you will call this, you will just write this line. These values will only be different. This will be called here, and the assignment will be done here. Okay. Okay, go down. So for box 1, we have done this. For box 2, we will do it in the same way, and go up a little bit. Okay, you have seen this one, where equals to 100. We didn't say about this. What does this do? Where is a class attribute. Okay, for example, in case of, if you speak like types of tigers, right? If you go tigers, there are lots of types of tigers. So say something common which is there in all types of tigers. Stripes. So we can say that this is a class attribute, right? So what is the class? Tiger. And what are the objects? Like if the class is tiger, name some objects which will be there, like the different examples of tiger. Okay, so all of those are examples. Yeah, so all of those are examples of tiger, right? But all of them can have a single common thing. So that common thing is here, this variable. So where equals to 100 means, if for the box class, if I create a 200 or 1000 objects, for all of those objects, the value of this variable will be always 100. So this means that whenever in a class, if you define a particular variable, this variable will have this particular value for all the objects, not only just one object. For all the objects, if you want that this one particular variable to have one particular value, you can assign something like this, and this is called the class attribute. Okay, go down. Okay, so now if you print these 2 values, that box1.where and box2.where, right? If you print these 2 values, go down a little bit. Yeah, so see, both of these print 100, right? Box1 and box2, those are 2 different objects, but when you print a class attribute, both of them print the same thing. Okay, so that's how it works. Now uncomment these 3 lines. Okay, don't uncomment the first line. Okay, so run this one now. Okay, so we have changed box2's attribute to 50. It was 100 earlier. Now I made box2.where is 50. So before it was that for all objects of the class box, where will have the value 100. Now specifically for box2, we have mentioned the value has to be 50, right? Then if you print it, it will show 50. So always object attribute is given higher priority. So what is object attribute? For a particular object, if you have a attribute value, that will always be given priority over a class attribute. Class attribute is something where the value is for every object. Okay, go down. Okay, this is an important thing. If you have an object, so and you want, say there are 5 variables you have. for that object, right? So for that object, if you have 5 variables and you want to know the details of each variable, you can just write this function, not actually a function, this is an attribute. So you write the object name, you give a dot, you give 2 underscores, dict, dict, and you give 2 underscore again, right? So this will print all the variables and the values for this particular object. So this will be the output. The name is Excel for box 1. The price is 245.99 for box 1, and the quantity is 5 for box 1. So this is what we will do. Okay, go down now. Okay, there is a plus here. Delete this ones. Okay. So this code, this is the last one, I think. Yeah. So for this, the code is the same as you saw in the last one. A minor change has been made. That is, in this code, what you will see is, go down, Soumedhik. Okay. So what we have done here. Okay. Wait. Yeah. So we have done this. This is the added part here. Box.all. Okay. So what is box.all? If you create, say, 1,000 objects of one particular class, okay, and you want all the details of all the objects at one place. So like we did in lists. In lists we can store any number of items, and they can be of any type, right? So what if we want a list? There needs to be a list, and in the list there will be all the objects of a particular class. So I want to create a list which will hold the entire details of the class, all the objects of the class, and every object will have its own values and attributes. So for that, what we do is, go up a little bit, go up. Okay, so I've created an empty list. So this is how you can create an empty list. You can write all, or you can give any name. This is an empty list, and what happens is, whenever we go into the init function, we just write one extra line. That is, for this class, box has a variable where. What was this where variable called? There was a special name. Sorry? No, there was a special name for this. We discussed this, that where had a special name. Na? Where is a variable, but what are these kinds of variable called, which are defined in the class? Huh? No. Okay, so if you declare something within a class, this is called a class attribute. Okay, so this is a class attribute, and similarly you have declared a list which is a class list, because everything you declare in a class, this is fixed for all the objects, right? So this is a class list, and go down now. Yes, so, oh, go up a little bit. Go up. Okay, so every time you call the init function, so when is the init function called? We discuss when? Yes, when object is created, the init function is called. So when object is created, what I want is, in box.all.append. What does this mean? Box was, what was box? Class. So in this class, we had the list called all. We declared it all, and it was an empty list. So in that empty list, I want to append. What does append do? It's adding the element to the list. So box.all.append, and we write self. What does self do? Contains the object. So whenever it's self, it will contain the current object, whatever is being called, it will contain that. So for example, if you do this, box1 equal to box, so what happens now? Box1 is being created. So whenever box1 is being created, init will be called, and now self will hold the value of box1. That's what it will do. Okay. So box.all.append self, this means that in the box class there was a list all, and in that list I want to add self, right? So what does self hold now? Box1, because I am calling for box1, the box1 object. So for now, box1 will be appended to the list all. So all was an empty list, and in that list I am adding box1, right? Okay, so if you called it for box 2, similarly I've called for box 1. If you call this for when you are creating box 2, init will be called for box 2, and now self will have the value box 2. So basically all list, the all list will hold box 1, then box 2, then box 3. Whichever objects are there, it will just hold the objects, right? Okay, now go down. All of the remaining code is the same. And now we have the list, right? We have all the list. We have the list and it's called all. So if I print this box.all, go down. Okay. So if you print box.all, what happens is this list appears. This long list will appear. Okay. So there were two objects that we created, box 1 and box 2. So when we create two objects will appear like this. Okay, so this is the memory location where the object is present for each of these two objects. We have the two objects in the list, right? After this, what I want to do is, so what does all contain? Can anyone say?
Box 1 and box 2, all the
Yes, so all is basically a list in box which contains the values, right? So in the list, if I traverse in the list, so I think everyone knows how we traverse in a list. Okay, so if you just go for I in box.all, so this is the list for I in whatever is the list. Okay, that's how you do. For you can write I, J, you can write anything you want. For a variable in the list, you print this. So this is the instance I dot price. What does I have for the first iteration? When I am iterating, yes, so I will have box 1 for the first time, and in the second time it will have box 2. So in the first time, what it will print? It will just print. It will just print the price of box 1, and in the second time it will print the price of box 2. Okay. Okay. So go down. I think it's done. It's done now. Go down. Yeah. Okay. So that was it for today's session. We want to show you one single thing for Kaggle. We want to show a single thing to you guys. I think everyone has a Kaggle account now. Does everyone has a Kaggle account? Okay. So what have you seen in Kaggle like these days? Like you opened it, I think 4 or 5 days ago. So what did you come across? Anything of value? Nothing? Okay. Okay. So you can check it out. It's a free platform. You can just register, sign in somewhere, or just simple register it with something. Okay, so you can go to these courses. Okay, so these are completely free. I think most of you have seen it. You can just go down. You have all of these courses. Once you finish this course, okay, so once you finish every course, you will get a certificate for this, and you can put it up on your LinkedIn or can put it on your Twitter, anything. Okay, so you can do that, and also go to Datasets once. The side. So there are options here. You can go to Datasets if you want to. So this is for people who already have some experience in the data field. Okay, if you are not, if you are completely new to this, no worries. Go down. Okay, so there are multiple datasets like this. You can just pick and choose a dataset, and you can do whatever you want with it. Okay. Also, you don't need to know data science fully to do all of these things. If you don't know, I will say go to competitions once. Yeah. So here you can go down. Okay. So wait. So this is for people who are new to Kaggle. Okay. So there are some projects you can say which are there for people if you are new to ML. And you can get to do this, right? This is simple, and I'll say don't put this up on your resume, but it's simple. Like it's simple and easy for beginners, and you can do this and get some knowledge. So all of these things you see that what you get from doing this is knowledge, nothing else. But after you have done this, go down once. Yeah, so these are the competitions which are active right now, and you see there are cash prizes for all of these things, right? So for cracking all of this, you will need some experience. These are like not for newbies. So I will say you don't need to check this out right now. I will say go to the learn section, whatever courses there are, take those courses, learn new things, and after that go to datasets, pick a dataset and do whatever you want with that, right? So I think that will be it. That's how you can use Kaggle. And thank you for attending the session, everyone. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask, like from the previous session or this session. If you have any question or understanding gap, you can do ask that. No one. Okay, fine. Are you writing this? The code will be sent. You can write at home. It's fine. How many of you have done all the QOTDs? Those were given. Sorry? Oh, how many of you have done the QOTDs? The question of the days. Those were shared in. Yeah. Today, I think today is day 5, or I think today is day 5. So today's question of the day is given. I think you have seen it on Telegram group. It's there. Okay. So have you written this one? Okay. The code will be sent in the group. You can check it out there also. Okay. I will say Arunima, if you have to say anything, she's not here. Fine. So how was the session for everyone? Like, did you learn anything? Okay. Good. OP is something like it's done. No. If you have to say something.